Yeah, I love Soul Eater.
It is a great cartoon with a terrible fucking opening sequence song.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad. Like,
Dude, anime openings are the worst.
some of them are good. There's a couple that I'm into.
You've seen Death Note, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Death Note's fantastic. That's probably my favorite anime series.
It's so good.
I know it's probably basic, but I love that shit. Oh, Tokyo Ghoul?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. If you have Hulu, all 3 seasons. I still didn't watch the 3rd season because it was like 4 years in between season 2 and 3. So I kind of like stopped, and then all of a sudden popped up, and I was like, oh, I guess I need to rewatch all of it because it's been 5 years since I watched the 1st season.
Devilman Crybaby?
Huh?
You seen Devilman Crybaby?
No, I haven't. I started it. The animation's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty cool. All right, we'll go ahead and start this thing off in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another edition of People Are Terrible. I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined as always with Caleb Miles, and we've got some fun stuff picked out to discuss with you guys today. It's been a relatively slow news week, I'm not going to lie. Most of what I found was stuff from last week, so we are going to do something a little different for our Florida Man segment today, and then each of us has brought topics. Caleb and I are going to discuss GameStop and the future of it. Let's kind of see where that industry and that business is going to be going within the next couple of years. And then we're also going to talk about my topic, which I can't remember what it is right now. Let's see.
It's a free ASAP.
Oh, yeah, there we go. The A AP Rocky Saga. This has been something ongoing over the last couple of days. So we're going to kind of give our perspectives on those things. But as always, we're going to start it off with the worldwide weird. This week's weird news headlines start with cat filter blunder adds bizarre twist to double homicide press conference. There's been a couple of incidents lately where people have live streamed with one of the filters over the top of them. I don't think the last situation that I recall was quite as dire as a double homicide.
Florida farmers depend on trade. Trade keeps their products moving.
Canadian Police Department live streamed a press conference on Facebook about a double homicide using a filter that made an officer appear to be a feline homo sapien hybrid. It's pretty good footage. What do you think about this?
So they live stream the actual murder?
No.
Oh,
this is the courtroom drama. Where they're talking about it. And, these high-ranking police department officials are, they've got the like really rosy cheeks and the little cat ears on top of them.
Nice.
It's silly looking. And there was a tweet that went out by Tyler Dawson. It says the BC RCMP are giving a press conference on the 2 people murdered on the Alaska highway, and they have the cat ear filter on. So a couple people saw it, they uploaded it, and kind of everybody was having a good laugh about it. It actually kind of brings attention to this story before, because prior to this, I hadn't even heard about it.
No, yeah, that's why I was all kind of caught off guard with everything. But I do see the picture now of her with the cat ears on, and it is pretty funny. Speaking of anime, it looks like an anime character.
Oh, 100%.
In the cop uniform with the cat ears. There's this anime called Hyper Police. It's literally about cat cops. And
really?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
I think they could have probably used this technology for the new Cats movie, and people would be less disturbed by it.
You don't like the creepy cats?
Nothing about that. Nothing about that. And I know it's pretty cool not to like it, but there's something, like, I didn't go into it to be freaked out, but I had a visceral reaction to it when I saw it. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I just saw the screen cap, and it was pretty terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it's the uncanny valley thing. It just looks weird.
The thing is, I saw a comment and from like a person who was obviously a furry, and they had like a furry avatar, and it's like, I don't know, I don't think this is realistic enough. They should have like merged like the human anatomy more. And I'm like, this dude wants to see cock and balls on him. That's what that dude's going for. I
heard that the furry community doesn't feel like they're well represented by this movie, apparently. It's just fucking ridiculous. They were like, they should have consulted us.
They're like, They're like, they should have got an actual furry to play these cats. Diversity matters.
You clearly see, like, they should have buttholes. They should have nipples. They should have, I mean, they're naked cats, but they're like, it's like a weird, anyways, this is totally separate conversation.
I think it's probably better than the actual story.
This is fair. This is fair. It just opened up an opportunity for us to make fun of furries, which is good.
I think we've done like 3 times on this show.
I did a video with my buddy Holden. It was a try not to judge challenge where we watched a girl who was a furry, and it was like we were having a good laugh about it. And then about halfway through the video, it's like a 20-minute documentary, like halfway through the video, she's like, well, ever since my dad died, this has been like a coping mechanism. I look over at Holden and I'm just like, fuck, this just got real. Oh, this is just a way for her to cope with her grief. Maybe we should not make fun of her. But then we remembered
a documentary about the people who just remember when it wasn't really furries, but for a while people would just clip cat tails on the back of their shit. Do you remember that on the pants? They did all the back time in New Mexico for a while, and it was like a subculture. They would like put cat tails on their shit and walk around. Like you'd see them at the mall, just like a teenage girl walking around with like a cat tail or a fox tail. And I watched a documentary on them, and it made my skin crawl.
I say, like, if it's not a butt plug, you're not earning it.
Yeah, I know. If you're going to commit, do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, well, that's one of our, excuse me, that's one of our, that cough, it made it worse. Let me try that again. All right.
Now you make me want to clear my throat. Yeah, this is going to divulge into.
Driver tries to avoid ticket by using red sports drink as a taillight. This is how slow the news week's been, you guys. This is funny though.
I'm assuming you have my story I sent you in here though.
I don't know if I do.
Oh, that's the best one. That's my favorite story ever.
Oh yes, I do. We'll get there. So driver tries to avoid ticket by using red sports drink as a taillight. So with a little bit of duct tape, ingenuity, and what looks to be a 20-ounce Gatorade, he stuffed it into where his taillight goes. And this was in Longmont, Colorado. And the cops say they appreciate his ingenuity, but it was not a permanent solution. They pulled him over and saw that he had tried to replace it with this red sports drink. And while they didn't give him a ticket, they did take a picture of it and put it on social media.
So, yeah, I was going to say, they shouldn't give him a ticket because technically, I don't know how the law is written, but I don't think it says that it has to be like an actual taillight. I mean, he has a taillight. It's just a really ghetto self-made one.
So it says authorities say vehicles must have a red taillight that can be seen from at least 100 feet away during the day. I'm imagining you could see the Gatorade bottle from 100 feet.
I mean, they saw enough to take a picture of it.
Yeah, and it was during the daytime, so it's not like he really did any... I mean, like, he didn't really do anything wrong. It's just like, that's the most ghetto substitute for a taillight I could possibly think of.
I've seen since I've moved, some cars that look like Mad Max cars out here. It's unreal.
Do y'all have, like, regulations, like, where they do car inspections?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just had to spend $300 on emission tests and registering, and my gas cap was wrong. So I don't know how these people driving around with guitars hanging from the top of their car make it out here.
Hold on. You said you had the wrong gas cap?
Yeah, apparently it was a little too loose. So I had to go buy a new gas cap, go back to emissions, and re-register. And it was like all said and done, like $300 out the door. Gas cap only being $12 of that.
You know, that, I mean, I'm sure this isn't a surprise to you, but Florida does not have emissions testing. Like, you can drive anything in Florida. So yeah, you'll see some real gems on the road here in Florida. It's like one of the few states where they don't have any sort of that kind of testing. And we also don't have state tax. So like, there's a couple cool things about Florida. Like, if you're poor, which I am, but
which is to say everyone in Florida.
Yeah, unless you're in like Palm Springs or Palm Beach or whatever. There's all the really, really rich people. But yeah, it's kind of a interesting thing that's something that is done nationally, and then they just don't even try around here. I'm gonna see if I can find the worst cars on the road. I don't know if that'll be how it'll probably just pull up bad makes of cars. Let's see. I'm hoping I can just find a real ratty one. Oh, this one's just like burst into flames.
Like, that's it. That's accurate.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, whatever. We'll move on. Slow news week. Did I say slow news week? All right. Yes, this is easily the best of the worldwide weird headlines. Plus size models receive Atkins bars along with the clothes they order from Forever 21. You want to take this one?
So this has made me so happy. A bunch of women went online to order some clothes, some plus size clothes. When they got their order, they opened it up, and apparently Forever 21 does
living in a small space
trials of stuff randomly in their shipments out. Sometimes it just, I don't know, could be trial to some magazine or whatever. This month, it was weight loss bars, Atkins bars. So a bunch of plus size women got their orders, were all happy, and opened it up. And on top of it was an Atkins bar and like a trial. I'm like, hey, need to lose weight? Here's an Atkins bar. So naturally, everyone freaked out. And you can see all these tweets of people just losing their mind. Are you trying to tell me something? And apparently, though, I dug into it deeper. It wasn't just plus size. It was, they just sent these out to everyone. And women who weren't not overweight didn't get offended. They saw it and thought whatever, But the people who were in plus size were very offended by this. And Forever 21 has actually issued an official apology.
Yeah, I think it was last week we were talking about how everything's funny until the joke is about you.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't send Atkins bars to plus size models. They sent Atkins bars to customers. Like, everybody got them and nobody thought anything of it. Only if you are overweight, you're going to have a chip on your shoulder about it. You're going to take it personally when it doesn't have anything to do with you. It's the people who needed the Atkins bars the most that were the most angry about them.
That was my thing. I was like, if they specifically were like, hey, every fatty that orders from us is getting an Atkins bar, that's still great marketing, because they sent it to the girl who's 100 pounds soaking wet. She's not a lifelong customer. She's not someone who's like, man, you know what? I might start doing this. Let's see how this works out.
We've gone too far. Slow news week, people. Slow news week. Yeah, we're going to spend 10 minutes making fun of fat people, because otherwise, what are we going to talk about? I'm sorry, we went in on the furry community. We got fat people. Who else you want to make fun of? Let's see. Oh, fat Florida furries. People. It's jokes, you guys. It's jokes. And it's fine. I'm not hating on her personally. It's just this expectation that the world is supposed to like cater to you. It's just so entitled. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think that entitled is the perfect summary of it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into the Florida Man headlines for the week in our Welcome to Florida segment. I Googled Florida Man headlines. I came back nada. We got some of the big ones last week, and other than that, there just wasn't much going on. But according to this article in the Time magazine, it turns out people from Florida are better at guessing if a Florida man story really happened in Florida. There is a test with 20 headlines. I haven't looked at them yet. Caleb hasn't looked at them yet. And we're going to go through and we're going to test this theory as me being a native and Caleb being pretty familiar with Florida Man headlines at this time.
I'm honorary Florida man.
You are. And so we'll see how this works out. We'll see if this is actually true. Okay, what state do you currently live? Let's say Colorado. Where did you grow up?
If you want, you can send me the link and we can take it on, like, I can take it on my phone. And then
okay. Yeah. That way I can do mine and you can do yours. Let's see.
Yeah, and it'll say which one is who got closer.
Caleb. All right, there that goes.
Ooh, this is time. Made this.
Yeah, this is the serious shit.
This is serious, man. Whew. Man. Okay, where's the actual quiz? Okay, select your state.
We might actually have an edge on this because how many Florida Man headlines we talk about.
That's what I'm thinking, is we might But I'm very curious to see if you actually do better, even though we've talked about them enough because you're from there.
Let me know when you pull up the...
Okay, just hit the start button. Okay.
What is your number one, the first one?
Woman finds sign from God on goldfish cracker.
Okay. My first one is man convicted of shooting crossbow during road rage incident.
I would say yours is Florida man, mine's not. What would you say?
Tell me yours one more time.
Woman finds sign from God on goldfish cracker.
Oh, man. Yeah, mine sounds like a Florida man to me. I would think yours probably does not. But it...
Oh, it gives you the answer right away.
Virginia man convicted of shooting crossbow during road rage incident. I was wrong.
Mine was wrong too. Florida woman.
Wow. So all that thing I said about having an edge,
yeah,
apparently it's bullshit. No. Sorry, that happened in Virginia. All right, next question. Woman says lingerie firm fired her because she was too hot. Was that in Florida or not?
Not Florida.
What about yours?
Woman admits using county cash to buy a dog tuxedo. I'm saying not Florida.
Cash to buy a dog tuxedo. Yeah, let's say not Florida on yours. And I think mine is, I'll say Florida on mine. New Jersey.
Oh, mine was Arkansas. So I was right on both of ours.
You were right on both of? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
because I thought neither one.
All right, let's see. Next one. Man charged with pouring ketchup on girlfriend. That sounds like a Florida
That's
headline.
Florida, yeah.
All right, what's yours?
Man eats 30,000th Big Mac hamburger.
Not Florida.
That's what I'm saying, not Florida.
All right, I got 1 out of 3, baby. Man charged with...
not Florida.
Yours was not Florida?
Yep, and yours was?
Yes, so we were both right on that one.
Even. So my next one is, pouring ketchup on girlfriend, which I already guessed that. That was Florida.
Woman scams 4 people out of $100,000 in toilet fan scheme. 4 people out of $100,000.
No, I'm thinking that's not Florida.
All right, I'm going with you on this one. Florida woman scams. Okay, let's see what this is. A Deerfield Beach woman convinced people to invest in a pan fan, a real device described as something that attaches to the rear of your toilet and sucks air inside and purifies it, or just blows bacteria around your butthole. But instead of using $107,000 of investment money to buy the fans, bank records show the money went towards clothes, spa services, dinners, and more. Seems like a better way to spend your money.
Yeah.
Or somebody's money.
So my next one was Jaguar claws woman who climbed zoo barrier to take a selfie.
Dude, we covered that story.
Yeah.
I think it... I don't know if it was Florida, though.
That's what I was saying. My gut says not Florida.
I think I'm with you on that.
Yep, we were right.
Oh,
that was
nice.
in Arizona.
Yeah, we knew that story, though.
That was my thing. I was like, this sounds familiar. So maybe it was Florida. I'm like, we do weird news. Okay, not.
It was on video, and she's just wailing, and her legs like gushing blood. I remember it too vividly. Man had 800 pounds of stolen lemons. So he was caught with 800 pounds of stolen lemons. Pretty high probability that it's Florida because it's a citrus fruit. California, the other one.
So
all right.
So mine was the fan one. I'm going to vote not Florida since that was my original guess.
And I got the Jaguar, not Florida.
Yeah, some of these I'm like, since...
What was the woman sign from God, goldfish cracker? Was that Florida?
We both guessed not Florida, but it was Florida.
Woman calls 911 to get a beer.
Mine.
That's where you're at now?
Florida. Yep. I'm saying
Florida, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
That's Florida.
That sounds right. And she's like, I'm withdrawing. I need a beer now.
Man calls 911 to report himself drunk driving.
That sounds like a Florida man too.
I'm going Florida. Yep, Florida.
Of course. Okay, man shoots at vacuum sales crew.
Not Florida.
Not Florida. I'm going with you on that one. Iowa man. So we were right there. All right.
So woman seeks court approval to change daughter's middle name to Awesome.
That's where I'm at now too. Not Florida. What do you think?
I'm going Florida on this one. Oh, you were right. Not Florida.
That's a good middle name.
That is pretty good. Man jailed for attacking man in Minions costume.
Oh,
That's a hard one.
how did we not cover that one? It must have been long ago. Not Florida.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. No, that was Florida.
Man faces charges after shooting a quote ghost or shooting at a ghost.
That's Florida.
Yeah, it's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Connecticut.
Man arrested for shoplifting after job interview at Kohl's.
Oh, dude, Florida all day.
Yeah, me too. That's how I was going. Yep, Florida. That has to be a Florida one.
Oh, shit. Only in Florida. Man arrested for burglary minutes after leaving jail. That's Florida.
That's Florida. I think we covered that.
Yeah, I do too. Correct.
Woman claimed to be God, fled on tricycle.
Oh, that sounds like
I'm
Florida.
saying Florida. Yep, that's Florida.
What? There's just a certain kind of story, man. There's just a certain kind of story.
That is just something you could just say, you know?
Woman admits using county tax cash to buy dog tuxedo. Sounds like a Florida story. I think it's not one, though.
I think we did that one. I don't remember what I voted or what you voted when I said I did it.
Arkansas woman. By the end of this, I've already totally fucked up the count, but we're still going through them.
Woman says she crashed because she saw a Sasquatch. That could be Florida, but
I'm thinking not.
Yeah, just because of Sasquatch.
Let's say Northwest somewhere.
Yeah. Yep, Idaho.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. Because if it would have been some other creature, maybe.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. Or if they would have called it Bigfoot even. There's some sort of swamp version of Bigfoot. Swamp Squatch. No, I don't know what it is. What it's like stink something. What is the swamp Bigfoot stink? See what we pull up there. The skunk ape.
Skunk ape?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
That's the Florida Bigfoot. Okay.
What's your next one?
Woman claimed to be God, fled on tricycle. Okay, we did that one. Was it Florida?
Yeah, we both voted Florida. Okay, woman let snake bite baby as a learning opportunity. Florida.
Gotta be.
Yep, Florida.
God, dude.
Crossbow, we said was Florida, right? The convicted of shooting crossbow.
I think.
Road rage. We were wrong, but yeah, we said that was Florida.
Man eats 30,000th Big Mac hamburger.
I think we said not Florida, both of us for that.
All right. Woman let snake bite baby as learning opportunity. That was not Florida?
We both said Florida on that.
Oh, and it was Florida. Shit.
Yeah.
Shoplifting after job interview at Kohl's. Okay, so according to this...
What'd you get? How many?
But it's wrong. But according to this, I identified 8 of 10 Florida men and women and 6 of 10 non-Floridian.
Yeah, I got 7 out of 10 Florida men and women and 6 of 10 non-Floridians.
So we were pretty much right on par with each other.
Yeah.
I came up with one more, but then again, it could have been one that you and I answered before. This wasn't exactly scientific. I think what we walked away from
science.
what we've walked away knowing is that you and I know a lot of Florida man headlines.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's going to look real good on the resume in the future.
Yeah. Marketable skills. Oh,
Yeah.
You guys won't believe this.
Have you heard the story about the lady who let her baby get bit by a snake as a learning opportunity? That's what I'm going to say in my next interview.
Yeah.
I think they'll hire me on the spot.
I remembered I just was talking to a potential coworker for like one of the first times. And we were like just kind of breaking the ice, getting to know each other. And somehow I ended up, and this is no shocker to you, somehow I ended up in a conversation about the fact that Gulf Breeze is the UFO capital of the world and the whole fucking, after I hung up the phone, I'd been smoking. After I hung up the phone, I was like, you idiot. Like, what is the matter with you? Why do you just talk about that stuff so much?
Who was this that you got into a conversation with?
He was, he's a fellow movie trivia host here in the area.
I thought it was like just a telemarketer or something.
No, it wasn't that random.
Yeah.
I always say, I'm like, did you know? And then bust out some just really specific trivia knowledge, and people are like, no, how would I know that?
Oh,
Like,
I know the most useless shit too. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, did you know? No, I don't know and I don't care. And you're like, oh yeah, you're normal. I forgot.
yeah. Yeah, your interests are not so specific.
Yeah,
Let's
it's not
see.
UFOs and movies.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, well, let's move into your GameStop topic. First of all, what made you want to discuss this, and then let's jump into it.
So GameStop is one of those things that we've known has been on its last leg for quite a while. It's keeps posting losses. I know at one point in time, it's like yearly loss was like 187 million, like
Wow.
insane numbers. Yeah. So, and then in the past 6 months, the company's stock value has dropped by 2/3. So it went from $15 a stock in January, which is not good, to just $5 a share in July. So it's on its last legs. And they came out and said a bunch of new plans that they have to revamp their business. And I don't know. I just don't know if it's too late. I feel like there's too much bad press around GameStop, and then the digital market is just coming to close it down.
How do you feel about the brick and mortar gaming game shopping experience?
So I buy all my shit digital. Video games, comics, movies, all of them now. I'm one of those people. It almost feels more future proof than physical at this point. And so I never go into them. And every time I go into a GameStop, I hate it so much. I hate it. Every time I go into a GameStop, a comic book shop, anything that's nerd centric, I absolutely hate the entire experience.
Why?
Because they're assholes. nerds are little dicks.
They like know better than you.
Yeah, and especially like I will walk in with my wife, and she's a very attractive woman. I don't necessarily look like your typical nerd in a lot of ways, the way I dress, and so they kind of have like a chip on their shoulder with me instantly. I'm like, hey, and I'm the nicest fucking guy, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? This, and they're just kind of like, yeah, what do you need? And they have the hipster barista attitude. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've had that experience, I think, a little bit more in comic book stores, but I haven't really spent too much time in video game, like GameStops. For me, like GameStop has always had a bad reputation because of the amount of money that they give you for the games that you just now bought. So like it's always had a negative kind of stigma to me. And it's interesting because like speculation feeds into the market and how much stock is worth. And like you said, there's been so much negative press around it that it's dropping the value of the company, even separate from the fucking sales and all of that stuff, which have just been plummeting. But you mentioned the fact that they're kind of considering revamping to more of an experience as opposed to a storefront. They're going to put a bunch of flat screen TVs in it and have games that you can demo and stuff like that. Is that attractive to you?
No, not at all for me personally. And then they're talking about doing more retro games too, which I think is smart because there's retro game mom and pop shops everywhere that have been in business forever that I don't know how.
And that's what sucks is that like it's good they're going to put a dent on the little guys, you know, because of this.
I don't think it's enough to save them. I think it'll keep them above water maybe for a couple more years, and then they're finally going to have to go, this isn't working. I mean, would you, maybe it's just also our age, but would you go into a GameStop and sit down and play a video game on a couch?
No, I wouldn't. No,
Like,
I wouldn't. I wonder if there is a community of people out there that would, and I kind of like the idea of like turning brick and mortar stores into more like boutique settings, and you have to reimagine
do something.
what the business model is. What I saw is that basically Sony and Microsoft were throwing them a lifeline by even putting ports for discs on them, because ever since the last gen, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you can download all your titles, right?
Yeah, I don't buy anything because part of the reason for me is PlayStation 5, as I predicted it would, this is why I went digital this generation, is going to be backwards compatible with your entire PlayStation library that you bought for PS4. So guess what? When PS5 comes out, I'm going to buy it. I already got 300 games ready to play at any point in time if I want to go back. And that's why I'm saying digital to me seems more future proof than an actual physical copy anymore. It does to me. And I feel like that's the main thing. But honestly, I do feel like you said they gave you 25 cents for a game, and then a used game was only $5 cheaper than a new one.
Yeah,
And
right.
I always thought that was just asinine. You'd be like, I'm going to go buy, I don't know, anything, Call of Duty. $60 or $55. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I'm going to get the one with no miles on it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, can we, like, for my generation, for our generation, movie rental places were that's how you got your movies. And I liked that experience. I like going to libraries. I like thumbing through comic books at comic book stores. But to me, there's not really that same, and this is my personal experience, but I didn't get that same kind of satisfaction out of going to video game stores, because typically, like, you know the title that you want when you go.
I agree. I feel like a retro game store, you get that, like a mom and pop.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I haven't played this old Nintendo game I've never heard of. Like that type of thing. And because there used to be this company, I don't know if they had them out there in Florida, Hastings.
No.
Hastings was amazing. Video games, anime, vinyl records, comic books, used movies. They do deals all the time where it's like buy two, get one free, buy one, get one for $1. And you buy a used box set of anime. That's why I have so many anime. Used box set of anime, $19. You get a free box set of anime for a penny.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
now
really
are
cool.
out of business. They were booming during the physical copy era, but it slowly died. And to me, GameStop has just never had that vibe. GameStops have felt like a chain. GameStop always just felt like somewhere you went to get a product.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would do, and I feel like a lot of people do this, is I would pre-order my consoles there. And that's the only thing I'm going to dislike about it, because instead of having to save up, you go pre-order it, put $50 a paycheck, and then by the time it comes here, it's good to go. And as long as I'm assuming Best Buy and stuff will do the pre-orders stuff, I know Amazon does it. For the console, I do like having a brick and mortar store to go to. My Switch broke and I was able to bring it back in. That's the only thing I like about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you need repairs or anybody to do work on it. However, I think Best Buy will just be, for a while, the last remaining place to be able to get games and stuff like that. I mean, unless there's other, Walmart, I suppose, will be around, because what I did hear, and I think it's valid, is depending on internet speed in rural areas, it's still not it's gonna be a while before a lot of those people do switch over to digital still. So I heard people say there might be a decade left of Steam in it. Do you think it will last that long?
I don't think GameStop will. I think physical will. I just don't think GameStop will. I say GameStop has like 5 years. I'm saying half a decade. And
I'm not a businessman. However, it seems like if they're losing money and losing stock, to invest in thousands of dollars of flat screen TVs for each of their locations is going to take a big bite out of whatever profit that they're actually making right now. So I don't know how spending that much money is going to help make money. I know it's a popular saying, you got to spend money to make money, but if you're just losing so much money so fast, hemorrhaging money, it seems like spending millions of dollars to put TVs in it is not going to help. And having a place for people to come hang out and play games for free, like, how is that a profitable business model? I just don't understand.
So here's this. GameStop overall, this was actually more than I thought. GameStop overall posted a net loss of $673 million for the full year.
Oh my God.
That's like unreal. How long can companies look at that amount of money? And if that doesn't turn around anytime soon, I don't know how it's going to.
What year of how many years into this latest generation of consoles are we right now?
We're coming up on, I think, the 4-year mark.
Okay. So within a year, that much damage has happened, where if right when the PlayStation 4 came out, right when the Xbox One came out, their stock didn't plummet like that. I wonder what the thing is within the last year that happened that didn't the first 3.
I feel like more people are just getting comfortable with buying digital. I know I am. So it's funny. Ironically, now for me, I get the experience you're talking about, we're going in and just looking through stuff and finding a cool gem. I get that experience now in gaming more than I ever have in my entire life through the digital store on PlayStation. I go new titles. I just scroll through them. I watch a couple of trailers. I'm like, that looks awesome. And then in a perfect example, that game I was telling you about before we started the podcast, We Happy Few. I've known about it forever. It was $60. I just hadn't picked it up. Watched a couple mixed reviews from it. It popped up on a flash sale for $20, and I was like, okay, now's my time to buy it. You know, and who knows? It could have been $20 at GameStop for all I know, forever. But this popped up right in front of my face, and I feel like just people are getting with everything. It took me a while. I was a collector. I hate buying movies now. I will not buy a physical comic. It just seems like such a waste of space now when I can have it all on my tablet. And my game's the same thing too. I'm going to go into my library right here. I'm sitting in front of the PS4 with me.
And the idea that any media within the past 10 years is going to have like collectability, those days are gone as well, because everything is mass produced to the extent that none of this physical media, comic books, video games, any of this stuff, maybe eventually down the road, but it's not scarce enough at this point to where like it happened in the 90s with comic books. They were just printing off so many of them because they can that the bubble burst. So I don't think collectibles are really worth as much financially. They're not like an investment as much as they are just like something that you have a sentimental attachment to.
Yeah, I feel like it's so mass produced. That's why these retro game stores are a little more niche, especially the cartridges, because cartridges fail. Yeah. So, you know, they kind of like some of these games are disappearing. So to give you an idea, I just looked at my library. I have 266 games. 20 of those are applications. So 246 games digitally for my PS4. And with PlayStation Plus, which is only $50 a year, 135 of those are from PlayStation Plus.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I pay $50 a year. And then when people say that's not a good deal, I'm like, I have 135 games strictly from that service. Yeah, some of them are indie. Yeah, some of them are smaller titles, but it's 135 games.
And you can demo pretty much all games.
Not any. That was the thing they promised that never really came to fruition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's still one thing I could see the value of, because for a lot of people, $60 is a lot of money to spend on a game that you may or may not enjoy. So being able to go down to the local video game store a couple miles from your house or whatever, and being able to, you know, test drive the thing, I could see people doing that. I just don't understand how that in itself is going to make money for the company.
I'll tell you what, if there's a game that I've seen, well, the thing is, the games I really want to play anymore because of who I've become are a lot of times digital only copies anyway. There's more games to play digital. But let's say there's a game like We Happy Few. I know had a physical release. I have been dying to play this game, but I read some reviews and I didn't want to plop down 60 for something I might hate. If they would have had that, honestly, I probably would have drove to GameStop and been like, I want to try We Happy Few.
And if you liked it when you were there, would you have picked it up?
Hell no. I would have gone home and bought it digital.
Correct. Yeah. And that's what I think is the problem with this new idea, this new business model. It might get people in the store, but getting people in the store does not equal sales necessarily.
Do you think there's anything they can do as far as to save their business model?
I mean, this is going full stop. If this doesn't work, I wouldn't know what else would. I don't know how they could middleman digital meat. You can't. You just get it directly from the source.
I feel like the only way they could, and I don't feel like internet's there, is if they transitioned into a streaming service like a Netflix type of thing, where they worked out deals with people where they'd have their games on it for certain types of months, you know. But that would cost, how much capital would that cost for them to throw at that?
The infrastructure would have to totally change. Or what if they did like a Steam? Like, what if they became a
storefront?
Storefront in that way.
I think Steam has that locked down, and I don't know if, and then Epic Games is breaking into that as well, and Epic's just like crushing it. They're getting all the exclusives. They're pissing off the PC community, but they're stealing all the exclusives.
And Blizzard's got their own storefront as well with Battle.net or whatever. Like, and then everybody's
EA has a monthly service now. I'm pretty sure Sony and Xbox will have a monthly service. I think Xbox already started a monthly service, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And PlayStation Plus, like I said, I pay $50 a year. And in the past 4 years, I've gotten 135 games. Like, if you have no money for games, the best option is to buy a console and get PlayStation Plus and just play what they get you. It may not be your favorite game. It may not be the newest game, but you will be able to play games unlimited.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of going to be the end of an era for people who are gamers in that same way that people collected vinyl, or gamers in the same way that people would go to video stores. I know for me personally, there's almost nothing I dislike more than going on to Amazon and having no idea what I want to watch, just knowing that I want to watch something and scrolling through endless options. I hate endless options. That's one thing. I know Redbox is already antiquated, but you got like 100 movies you can choose from. You freaking make a decision because it's easier. You know, when you've got so many options, it gets to be a little bit overwhelming. I think it does something to the human brain where it's just like it's exhausting. And more times than not, I will scroll through Netflix for 20 minutes and end up watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 again.
I do that with Futurama or like all these adult animation shows. I'll be like, let's watch something. And then we scroll for a while and then we're like, it's too much. And honestly, I feel like video games are that way too, where I'm just like, in anime, I almost don't watch anime sometimes because everywhere streams anime now. And Hulu has a ton. This has a ton. I had a Crunchy account and it was too much. I was like, there's 50,000 anime and I want to watch them all. And I would just not watch any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that I've got a list of about 12 movies that I want to watch because they're like kind of critically acclaimed, but sometimes I just want to watch something like light, fun vibe, don't want to get into something super heavy, so I default back to the things like adult animation, same kind of deal. Like I definitely went through a phase where I would rewatch Futurama, Family Guy, The Simpsons, literally any of that stuff. And now like I like watching bad movies, but there's not, I just don't know which bad movies are fun to watch because there's a difference between like a good bad movie and just a bad movie.
Well, it's funny too because I actually was enjoying buying my movies digitally because there still was that collector part and it wasn't as crazy, you know? There would still be like, oh, I bought this movie because I wanted to watch it. But now I just booted up Vudu. I have 478 digital copies.
Holy crap.
Now I've hit the point where my own Vudu is too many damn movies.
Yeah.
I probably have 100 movies in here at least that I haven't even seen.
Really?
That I got on sale for like, because Vudu does crazy sales, $3, $2. And I'm like, oh, I'll spend $30 on 10 movies or $40 on 10 movies. And then I'm like, I'm never going to watch these 10 movies. I just don't have the time anymore.
My buddy's Vudu that I use has got like 1,900.
Crazy.
It's TV shows, movies, pretty much all of the good TV that you can think of. And then his movie preference varies quite a bit from mine. So a lot of the movies, he's got most of the big ones, but then he gets like weird period dramas, like the Corset movie, like just a bunch of stuff that I just don't watch. But
like not the type of stuff you'd be into.
Yeah. But then he does have like the 4K Blade Runner. I mean, he's got a bunch of really good stuff as well. But yeah, it's same kind of thing. It's just overwhelming. If there was a way for those websites to somehow cater to your needs better, I think it would be great. Netflix used to be better about that when you could actually rate the movies on the star system, and now there's just these fucked ass percentages that really don't mean anything.
The ups and the down likes.
Yeah.
And yeah, for people like you and me who don't just love and hate everything, it's really hard to do that. And I tend to do like on almost everything unless I really, really hate it. You know, and then so it's like it just recommends crap because I'm like, I didn't give this 3 stars, which I would have.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Right.
Like, that's a 3-star movie. I didn't really like it, but it wasn't bad. To bring it back to GameStop, I know they for a while were trying to do a video game publishing, like they were picking up some things where they were trying to do some indie games and stuff that were available digital. Actually, they weren't available digital. They are only available in their physical stores. I don't think that took off, but do you think maybe them using that capital and transitioning out of physical stores and maybe becoming a publisher would be, it's totally changing markets into what they're doing and totally changing their business model completely, but they already dipped their toes in that. Do you think that would be a viable way to save some money?
That's actually a really good idea that I thought. You're talking about them becoming developers or like the publishing company for developers.
Yeah, so they'd be like an Ubisoft or an EA, or a Square Enix.
And they do have the brand. Right now, they might have the capital to do it, but like you said, it's a totally different industry.
Because I know they did a couple of indie games, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, oh, so you have to go in to get the the physical games in their store. It was more about saving their store, not actually doing that. Where I'm like, if you probably just did these digital and physical and you could buy them anywhere, you would have made more money.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And I mean, brick and mortar stores, they've got to cost millions of dollars a year to even have the doors open when you consider labor, utilities, all of those kind of things, just rent in a commercial zone or whatever. So, I mean, it would reduce a lot of their output to not have to pay to have a storefront. They wouldn't have to make as much money if they weren't spending as much money. So, I mean, that's something that they really should humor, but it would take bringing on an entirely different team of people.
So apparently they've only published 3 video games. So
wow.
Yeah, I thought they did more than that. No, it's only 3.
Were they good games? Are you familiar with them?
I'm familiar with Songs of the Deep, which apparently is good. I think that's on digital now. I think they already might have broken that down because I'm pretty sure I've seen Songs of the Deep on digital on Xbox.
It's an underwater game?
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. I always liked underwater games a lot. You remember Echo the Dolphin?
Loved Echo the Dolphin. I was such a Sega kid. I loved it.
Yeah, that was such a great game, dude. Just the ambient music. Like, it was just the most chill freaking game. I loved it. Like, it's the most relaxing thing to just swim around in the freaking caverns and stuff. Song of the Deep has a similar aesthetic.
Yeah.
I like the way that looks.
But since 2017, they've only put out 3 indie games. Doesn't look like that's been a very fruitful initiative for them.
No, it looks like it's on the way out, and that's just kind of the way the world works. It's for me, the sentimental nature isn't there. I do dislike the idea of them doing retro games just because I literally have 3 different friends that have retro game storefronts, and you'll never be able to get those in digital. So that will be a sustainable business as long as there are people out there that are into it. But like you said, I don't know how they keep their door open because there are retro gamers out there. But I mean, these stores probably aren't making $200 a day. You know what I mean?
Well, especially and I'll be one of those people. If I'm gonna play a retro game, I do emulate it. Yeah, I know you shouldn't.
I know.
Well, here's my thing is, people go, oh, you shouldn't because then it takes away from the publisher. These publishers are out of business. I'm not stealing from them.
Yeah, right.
This is a game that they're not. Now, that being said, if there's an old game that is re-released, that is a game I want to play, I will 100% buy it digital. I will actually pay the money to them because I want to support people re-releasing classic titles. Think we're going to get there, but I'm like you. Even with that, there's retro gamers, and there's collectors, but I don't understand how that comic books, all that stuff stay in business, these stores.
Have you played the remaster of Final Fantasy VII?
It's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to either.
Why?
Because Square Enix makes shit games.
Aw, I hate to hear that.
All the weebs just love because of nostalgia.
I hate to hear that. I love Final Fantasy VII.
I've never actually played the original. I might pick up the original version because they were a great developer at one point in time.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, I think, was one of the last of the great JRPGs. I think people say Final Fantasy X is also very, very good. I actually never played that. Oh, you played that one?
Yeah, it's great. I tried Final Fantasy 15, which everyone said it's a modern JRPG, which I am not into. They just feel so dated by today's standards because they haven't changed with the times.
Yeah, I hear you. That, just the whole hit point system and turn-based role-playing games is just a kind of a thing of the past.
It's not necessarily turn-based. It's like an action battle system, and it just feels like a janky wannabe Western game. It's so I don't understand why people love the new Final Fantasy.
Interesting. Yeah, the graphics look great on this new Final Fantasy VII, but I guess they would. I wonder how just gameplay wise it will hold up to for new audiences. I don't know that you would like to go back and play 7 at this point, just because we're at a different time now.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and play old games, and I do have fun, but that era is the hardest to go back. Like, you can go back and play 16-bit, but early 3D it's janky. It's rough.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. Yeah, when I retro game, I don't even I don't even consider PlayStation 1 to be the kind of retro games that I like to go back and revisit. It's always, like you said, it's a 16-bit. I like Nintendo 64 games as well. But yeah, that early 3D was just, they didn't have a handle on it yet.
Yeah, as you can tell, it was a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll have to just wait and see about GameStop. If you guys have any bright ideas on how they could maybe salvage this business model, we'd love to talk about it down in the comments section. And also, what is your relationship with physical brick and mortar gaming stores? Is this something that you avidly use, or is it something that you stopped using years ago? I'd be real curious to hear your thoughts on all of this. And then we're going to go ahead and move into the ASAP Rocky Saga. This is my topic for the week, and I want to talk about, let's just talk about it. Let's start that from the top. Okay, so a couple days, actually it's been a couple weeks now. I want to say it happened on like the 6th or something like that over in Sweden. ASAP Rocky was walking down the street with a couple of members of his entourage, a couple of friends. I think one of them might have been a security guard. If not, the man needs a job as a security guard. And they were being followed by two men who were claiming something about them breaking their headphones, and they wanted something from them. They were following them for multiple blocks. ASAP Rocky's like uploading video of it, saying basically, just for the cameras, we don't want to fight these dudes. They're following us around. They won't leave us alone. And then a fight ensues. An actual physical altercation ensues. ASAP Rocky ends up getting arrested. The rest of the members of his entourage do not. I think they got arrested and then let go immediately. And now there is a court date that's been set up, and they're awaiting the trial or to see whether or not he's going to go to jail or not. Sweden doesn't have bail. They don't have the system where you can get bailed out before the trial. And A$AP Rocky, of all of them, seemed to be the one that posed the biggest flight risk, so they decided to keep him there. You showed me footage. I've seen footage of it. Everything else out of the equation. By what you saw on that film or on that video, what's your take on the situation?
So when I first heard about it, I was like, because my wife brought it up, she's like, "Did you hear about it?" I was like, "Oh, I heard he beat someone up and he went to jail, whatever." Like, you know, then I heard from other people, "Oh, he didn't even fight," because I saw the video where they don't show the actual fight, you know, because you do see the bodyguard grab the iPod and throw it or whatever that the dude hits him with. So he grabs his headphones and throws it. With big deal. The dude was the aggressor. But he did, for the record, they did jump this guy. They did assault him, you know. Legally speaking, A$AP Rocky did assault someone.
Yep.
Do I think it was justifiable? Absolutely. You know, do I think he was the aggressor in this situation? No, not in any situation. I think where it gets weird is because I understand arresting someone for assault because legally speaking, he assaulted someone, whether they deserved it or not. But I think where it gets weird is exactly what you're talking about. He can't get out on bail and he's awaiting trial. And even though I think once he goes to trial, I'm hoping anyone who looks at this video will just go, "What the heck? No, this guy should not be in here," because he was not the aggressor. He was trying so hard to stay out of that situation. It's just a very weird situation. I've never been to Sweden. I don't know much about it. I had a friend who lived over there, and he said, you know, that, not saying this is what it is, but he said that, you know, sometimes race in Sweden isn't the best, you know, relations. So I don't know if that added to the fire. Like I said, this is just speaking through someone who knows someone who lived there very briefly. So I don't know. Where's your head at with it?
What you said is if A$AP Rocky was the aggressor, did get in a fight, they jumped some dude for no reason, I'm very much in the camp of like, yeah, if you get arrested for committing a crime, then you deserve it. Then I saw the footage, and it very clearly looked like those two guys, I heard them referred to as Caucasian. It doesn't really matter, but Swedish people themselves don't normally look like those two guys did, I don't think.
Well, and I'm assuming they're of Middle Eastern Muslim descent, which I know
That's what I thought.
Sweden has a huge Muslim population, I'm pretty sure.
And that's neither here nor there, but if it's a black on white violence kind of narrative, that's totally different. It seemed like this is just taking away from what I saw, which is only a portion of what happened, but that these two guys probably saw him as an opportunity to get something from, and they pushed him into a confrontation so that they could sue him afterwards, is what I kind of took off of it. It was like a good scam. They find a rich American celebrity that's going through, and they push and push and push until he reacted, and then now all of a sudden they've got what they wanted. They will probably sue him. They will probably make money off of him because, yeah, what happened, it escalated and escalated, but no matter what, they didn't have to jump those dudes. Any one of them could have knocked both those dudes out.
Oh, yeah. These were not intimidating men by any stretch of the imagination.
Little guys. I mean, the little guy swings on the bouncer, or the big guy, and even if he hit him, it wouldn't have hurt him. Like, those little dudes, they were like little wiry guys like me when I was freaking 19 or something like that, you know? So I don't understand why they felt the need to use excessive force, other than they were just tired of the bullshit at that point. But from the video I saw, it seemed very one-sided. It seemed like those guys had an ass whooping coming to them, and it even looked to me like the most confrontational of the two was the first to try to strike and turn it physical. He just missed. The dude just like stepped back and he missed him. So they were the ones that even instigated the physical altercation. That said, all we saw was a portion of events. I don't know what why those guys did it. I say they might have done it to get money off of them, but I don't know what the real reason was. And I also heard that court documents were just now released yesterday, the day before yesterday, showing that A$AP Rocky's entourage deleted and edited the incriminating videos and kept the one that painted them in the best light.
Which I'm assuming they did. I mean, looking at that video, it's clearly like edited and, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just even while I was watching, I'm like, that's clear. Like, even the first video I sent, it's like full fight. And I'm like, where's the actual fight?
Yes.
Because I heard someone at work go, oh man, they didn't even fight. He just threw his headphones, and A$AP didn't even do it. It was his bodyguard, and that's why he's being charged. And I'm like, I just find that weird. So, but from what is there, these guys do appear to be the aggressors.
Yep. Yeah. You know? So from there, the conversation blew up on Twitter. Donald Trump loves Twitter. He saw what happened. Kanye West reached out to him and basically wanted him to use his power to get Sweden to release A$AP Rocky. Now, going through Twitter to tweet at the guy and try to appeal to his ego, probably not the best diplomatic way to go about it, as opposed to like calling him on the low and trying to freaking actually be political about it. But when you do it in a public space like that, the Swedish prime minister had no choice but to be like, that's not how the legal system works. You don't get to just like cash in a favor for somebody that he probably doesn't care for all that much. I'm not real sure what their personal relationship is, but I think the majority of politicians in Europe don't love Donald Trump.
Oh, I would assume so.
So the way that he went about it, it's just typical Donald Trump. It's exactly the way you would expect him to do it. Say it on Twitter.
Like, take care of your own country, clean it up type of response.
Yeah, Sweden should worry about their own crime or the real crime going on in Sweden. And I don't know, maybe there's some serious unrest in Sweden, but
the rape is awful in Sweden.
Is it really?
It's the most rape in a Western nation.
That's crazy, not funny. Why would I not know that?
No, yeah, apparently I just pulled up the list while we were talking. So apparently here's who's above Sweden in the world. South Africa, most rapes, Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, Bermuda, then Sweden.
Oh my God. Like places that are run by freaking criminal warlords, and then
number
Sweden.
6, which, don't get me wrong, United States is still pretty high.
Number
United
7?
States is 14.
Oh, okay.
But no, so that they have a huge problem with rape.
Oh, holy shit, I didn't know that. I was just kind of imagining it was like one of these utopian, like Norway or something.
Paints Sweden as that. It has like a huge problem with like racism, and it has a huge problem with rape. I'm like, it's not this utopia. You guys calm down.
So the fact that Sweden doesn't have a bail system, there's no laws in place for that. I mean, the guy's hands are tied. If he made an exception, it would set a terrible precedent. Like, due process has to go through at this point. And then I saw A$AP Rocky's attorney basically saying that it was unlivable conditions. He wasn't getting the nourishment that he needed. The food that they were providing him was like not good enough. And then I saw pictures of the cells, and they're fucking nice. They're nice. I mean, they're small. It's probably like depending on how rich and privileged you are, it might dictate how your perspective is skewed about it. But not for the most part, Swedish cells look pretty nice. There's a flat screen TV mounted to the end of the bed. Apparently,
the prison boss came out and like defended it. Was like, no, our conditions are not bad.
No, they're not great, but they've got like bookshelves and like nice window to the outside. It's totally
better
different
than American prisons, from what I can tell.
Oh, American prison jail cells you don't get a look to the outside, if I'm not mistaken.
No, dude, I've been not personally in them. I've like visited people or toured them and stuff, and these look way nicer.
Yeah, one looks like a kid's bedroom. The other looks like what you think a jail cell would look like. I don't think the Swedish jails have bars. I think they have doors. Like, it's just a totally different aesthetic. Like, one looks cold. The other looks like it's actually a little bit warm.
It looks like it was designed in an IKEA.
Yes. It's furnished with IKEA furniture. Yeah. And then you look at like the facilities in American prisons. So anyways, when you compare the two of them.
This dude has a PlayStation hooked up in his room.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude.
I mean, that being said, if you're wrongfully jailed, it still sucks.
100%. And it's not ideal conditions, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like the fact that everybody is so quick to back him, I am very much of the school of thought, and this applies to all sorts of situations. It applies to the Andy Signor situation and everything else, is people are unreliable narrators. No matter what one party says is the truth versus what the other party says is the truth, chances are pretty good that because of your own bias, because of your own experiences, because of the way that you present the facts to make yourself look better, like, both sides are typically full of shit. Like, both sides are lying. And for you to say, or not for you, for anybody to say, oh, person A said this, that makes person B the villain. Okay, great. And now all of a sudden, person B says this, so now person A is the villain. And it's like, I hate to pick sides according to say who's right or wrong, because I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know what happened prior to when the video started rolling. I don't know what happened in those moments in between that were cut out. I don't know what they deleted from their phones to say whether or not we will never have the whole picture. So I don't want to say defend A$AP Rocky. I don't want to say throw A$AP Rocky in jail. I just think it's interesting how as a society we are so quick to take people at their word and take things at face value.
Well, I think you're kind of just right on the money with as far as we don't know what happened, and he whether it was warranted or not, he did jump someone, and people are either taking that completely out or they're only concentrating on that part.
Yeah.
I feel like depending on where side you fall on this, I feel most people, because we're Americans, most people fall on the side of defending A$AP, that I see.
Does this make Trump not racist?
I don't know. I never know the rules anymore. I don't think, I think Trump's just an ass. That's the kind of where my chance, my 2 cents on it is. I never know. I don't think Trump's the type of person. I think Trump, if you're a good person and he likes you for whatever reason, I don't think he gives a shit about your race.
I kind of agree with you on that. I do think this is a political move. I think it's calculated, especially being that election's coming up relatively soon, that it will help his vote in the African American community, and he knows that he needs that this time around.
I think that might be it, but I also think, wasn't it Kanye who tweeted at him to do it?
There's also that separate from politics and everything else. He just likes Kanye. Yeah.
Which makes sense. Those two, to me, make perfect sense as friends. They always have.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, most rappers make perfect sense being friends with Trump.
He is the lifestyle personified. Like he is what everybody in that code like aspires to, you know.
Says what he wants, makes a ton of money, doesn't care about your rules, fuck you type of person. So to me, like every rapper, I think if you take politics out of it and were to have a one-on-one and just hang out with the dude, would probably like him.
Yeah.
They're very similar type of people.
I wonder if he would have. Now, I don't think there's any scenario where A$AP Rocky would have gotten out ahead of his trial.
No, I don't think so either. That's my thing is, I saw this before he intervened, before Trump tweeted, which I guess we can call it intervening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before he did that, I saw people like, why aren't you going to bat for this guy, Trump? Why aren't you, like, not before the Kanye thing, just like people, you know, you need to go do this. You need to take care of it. And then people saying he's racist because he hasn't intervened, which apparently now this, like you said, maybe this makes him not racist. I don't know. But I think had he gone the proper channels, there is a rule of law in that country, and he did assault someone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been convicted. Now, from the evidence I can tell, again, this is what we see. If he gets convicted, I'm going to say that's utter bullshit. But we're not at that stage yet. We're at a stage where he's awaiting trial for an assault, and the assault did happen. That is fact. Whether it was warranted or more self-defense. But it's the same thing if someone came in my house right now and I beat the crap out of them. I mean, most likely it's in my house, but if I shot him, let's say, make more extreme, I shot him, I would get arrested for that. They wouldn't just be like, oh, okay. You know, they'd have to do some investigating.
Right, yeah.
If a crime's been committed, you have to investigate. And that's kind of the scenario we're in. And people are like, no, we already investigated. We looked at the clips that we've seen. Yeah, but that's what people have decided to let us see.
Right. But if that's the evidence, if the jury or the judge is being presented the same evidence that we've seen, it does paint a very specific picture. I just now pulled this up from Complex Media. It was a couple days ago. It was the 25th, but it says his alleged victim, who was recorded harassing the rapper and his crew in Sweden before provoking them to physically attack, has a criminal assault record, according to TMZ. It says, according to the outlet, in 2016, when Mustafa Jafari was 16, he was prosecuted and convicted of assault for striking a man in the forehead and repeatedly punching him in the face in the streets of Stockholm. He was ordered to complete 30 hours community service and pay the victim $500. So there's a little peek into what will actually happen to A$AP Rocky. If he gets in trouble, he'll have 30 hours community service and have to pay $500 out of his pocket change.
Sounds like, you know, if he gets convicted, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a major thing. And as far as that guy is concerned, even in the video, that girl comes up and says, hey, to A$AP, she's like, you know, like this guy literally just walked up and grabbed both of our butts about the guy that's following them.
I heard that.
So this guy sounds like a douche.
Yeah. Oh, so he got convicted of 2 drug charges in 2017 and 2018, served no jail time for that offense. And A$AP tweeted, a few drug addicts are not my fans. We don't know these guys and we didn't want trouble. They followed us for 4 blocks. They were slapping girls' butts who passed. Give me a break. We did not see these guys slapping anybody's butts in the video, but it was said.
Yeah, those girls are like, ignore them. They just grabbed me and my friend's ass a few minutes ago or whatever she says. So I don't know. I feel like everyone's a little up in arms, but we're at a stage where crime has been committed and we're investigating it.
Yeah, hopefully it comes out that, I mean, I would really like to see him be exonerated of it. Just by what we did see, it looks very much like they were not forced to react, but pushed to react.
Do you think it's weird that he's the only one that got arrested, though? That's weird as shit to me.
It is weird. It is weird. I think because the footage shows him sling the guy to the ground and then they all run up and start kicking him. But yeah, it seems like they kind of targeted the most celebrity of them.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. I don't know what prompted them to do that. And if there's not a bail system, how did the other two guys not get arrested to go to trial with him, you know?
Because they clearly did it too.
They were every bit as much a part of it as he was, and they claimed that he was the flight risk, and that's why they kept him. But that seems like a form of discrimination, even if it's just because he's an American celebrity. It seems like there's some reason why they decided to keep him.
Yeah, because if there's no bail, I'm like with you. Well, to me, the implication is these dudes were not even arrested then.
Yeah, which I thought they were, but I guess they, let's see, was Rockies.
Because, yeah, that's what maybe I'm reading too much into it, but if there's no bail, that's the only logical jump, I would say, is that these guys weren't arrested. You know?
And then this says, wow, TMZ, A$AP Rocky's detainment is becoming serious human rights issue, and the American embassy is now involved. Sources close to the rapper says he voluntarily went to the police Tuesday, which he did. He went for questioning and was immediately taken into custody. We're told the cops are holding him on restricted visitation and only allow him to speak with an appointed attorney. Our sources say it's standard practice for the U.S. Embassy to immediately be alerted when an American is arrested, but that never happened. Instead, police are refusing to let the U.S. Embassy rep meet with A$AP or his team. So if this narrative that we're hearing is in fact accurate, this is kind of fucked up.
Now, yeah, the more I'm digging into it, I'm like, there's definitely some weirdness going on.
But they did not need to go thugging and freaking straight up jump the dude in the city streets in front of everybody. That's where, I mean, obviously that's where it became a problem. The bouncer should have just been able to stay in between them and not let his employer get involved. Like the bodyguards are supposed to take the hit. Granted, I don't even know this guy's a bodyguard. I don't even know that. Yeah, no, it says it's his bodyguard.
Apparently, they say that the crew struck the teenage, I don't know how old he is, Mustafa Jafari, with a glass bottle. And I did see them carrying glass bottles. I don't know if that's right. You know,
they say that's a big part of because he had lacerations, they said, from the glass bottles. So yeah, I mean, once it went down. And who knows if he got thrown on the glass bottle or if he was struck by the glass bottle. Like, who's to freaking say? I didn't see that actually happen. But he says, the man had actually broken his headphones when he smashed them on the head of the bodyguard. So he's saying that they broke the headphones, and I guess in a way they did, but only because he threw it at him.
Yeah, you see the video. He does throw it at him.
Idiots.
I don't know. Yeah, to me, if this guy gets... I don't know. It's of two minds. Like, you could always say, like, the guy got what he deserved. That's, to me, is for the record. But then there's the whole... the whole thing of vigilantism almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the actual legality of it.
Yeah. Now, G-Eazy has been sticking up for him about racism because G-Eazy apparently got into a fight in Sweden and was not treated this way, you know? And so he put the difference between me and A$AP Rocky's treatment and process in Sweden brings to mind two concepts that disgustingly go hand in hand: white privilege and systematic racism. That's what he said.
Who's G-Eazy?
G's another rapper, white rapper.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. So, and apparently he got into a fight in Sweden at one point in time, and like nothing happened. Which I always say that doesn't necessarily mean racism. They are two separate events. You know, it could have been I don't know. Right. I'd have to see more information.
I kind of agree with this person who commented on the TMZ article that I was reading, and it says, "Here's an idea: if you're worth $6 million, get better security and don't fight with drunken idiots." The security could have had them arrested for assault when he allegedly hit him with the headphones. The video shows different time periods of the incident. Everybody acts like ASAP has no responsibility. He does. He's not above the law. And any country, just like Trump, do the crime, do the time. I don't like that last part of the sentiment so much. But yeah, he definitely should have had his security intervene. And once they had the assault on record, they should have just went to the police with it.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not very, like, that's not going to boost your cred, but yeah. And
it's also hard to do when you're being followed constantly.
In the heat of the moment, yeah. And like, who do you even call in Sweden? Like, I wouldn't know who to call. Is it 911? I don't know.
Or maybe walk into their coffee shops, walk into one of the coffee shops and be like, hey, these people are assaulting me. Can you call the police?
Yes, 100%.
Like, that's, especially when you're... I understand, like, as someone who's been in fist fights, I get it. But especially now, if this were happening to me, I would probably, I'm married, I got a kid on the way. Like, I probably would take the high road. Mm-hmm. And I would go into somewhere and be like, hey, can you call the police? Like, I would try to de-escalate the situation, which they did. Even you see ASAP very calmly walk up to dude, puts his hand on his shoulder, like, hey man, we don't want a problem with you. Can you just go that way? Like, he does look like he did the mature thing for 90% of this thing.
I think at that point, they felt like they had everything they needed to justifiably beat the shit out of him and get away with it because they had captured so much of the incident on video and repeatedly tried to de-escalate the thing and just say, just go on your way, leave us alone, just leave us alone, over and over again.
These guys got what they deserved. Like, I don't feel bad for these men by any stretch of the imagination. But you said the legality of it is a totally different thing than whether or not I feel bad for these men.
Yeah, that's my take on it. That's your take on it. But we would love to hear your take on it. We will post links to the videos down in the description. Check it out. Try to come up with what you think the outcome of this should be and let us know. Anything else before we wrap this up?
I think it was a pretty successful show. We offended furries. The plus size community. We offended. I offended nerds by saying that I hated all nerds going in. And now ASAP Rocky fans.
Correct.
I feel like we're been pretty successful.
We took a couple jabs at Florida as per usual. So yeah, I mean, we had about, I don't know, a couple million people on the hit list today.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good.
Thank you guys for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do us a favor. Please take a second, click that like button. It just takes that much to help us grow the channel and grow the brand. If you want to stay up to date with all of the terrible content, then all you got to do is subscribe. Click the bell and cross your fingers that the notifications actually come through, because let's be honest, we're not getting recommended.
Oh, you don't think so? You don't think our 5 to 10 views on single subjects are trending?
I think it's the tags. I think it's the algorithms. Like, nope, we're not letting these dudes get their opinion out.
Yeah.
But anyways, we do appreciate you guys stopping by. And until next time, and on behalf of both of us, be terrible.